from one of our sponsors. And if you're a fan of playing undercover, you're going to want this one.
A World Championship Smackdown can leave your maps out for the count. Gale Force winds, cavernous craters, stompings from an angry bear. If only there was a solution. Well, there is! Introducing Rosa's Grow Light. The amazing garden gadget that brings your bushes back from the dead. Produces dense, leafy foliage for you to hide, heal, and ambush your enemies. If you love hiding in bushes, you need Rosa's Grow Light. World Championship winners receive an extra 50% discount while stocks last. Make your map a knockout with Rosa's Grow Light.
Well, talking of knockouts, let's take a look at the bracket, shall we? As you can see, we sadly said goodbye to two teams already, Code Magic and Nova China, but that sets us up for a semi-final between SK and PSG Esports. And right now, we are going to take things to Brazil and to Japan, two incredibly different regions for our next matchup. It's going to be Jupiter versus INTZ. Jupiter actually tallied more points in their region than any of the other teams in this top 8. So I have a feeling they're going to be feeling quite confident. But I also know that Brazilians never back down from a fight. So let's see if our players have got some fighting talk ahead of this quarterfinal.
INTZ は、いまいちそんなに知らないチームなんですけど、やっぱり、世界大会に上がってきてるチームということで、ちゃんとこっちもしっかり対策をして、勝ちにつなげれたらなと思います。
About our first opponent, Jupiter, it's very difficult to know their state right now because the meta is changing a lot and we don't have like matches of them in this last meta, and we only have like stuff to know about them in the monthly finals, which is quite a while ago.
INTZ に勝つためにはやっぱり自分たちがずっと積み上げてきた、連携の部分でしっかり勝っていきたいかなと思います。
Jupiter, I know you guys are very good and I love Japan, but this time we're going to win and Brazil is here.
自分たちは去年世界2位だったんですけど、去年の世界大会にすら出れてない INTZ には負けられないかなと思います。
They're not going to lose to a team that didn't even qualify last year, Ark. Those sound like fighting words from Jupiter in our third semi-final of the day. And this is going to be an interesting one because so far we've had inter-region derbies where they've been playing in approximately the same location. These guys are at opposite ends of the world, so who knows what's going to happen in this next series?
Oh, those words, they packed a sting. I mean, bans on the screen though, and we've got Carl for Jupiter, the first ban that we've ever seen for Amber. In fact, the first ban for both of these two brawlers. They've never been banned this entire year.
It does not surprise me. For the Carl ban in particular, we saw the strength of that in our first series as well. Recently buffed, having a lot of power in that pick. Amber, bit of an unusual one. Nerfed recently, but still a bit of a threat for one of these teams.
Yeah, they want to get rid of the brawler, which is the latest to the meta, just to kind of get rid of that option on the table. The first game mode, we've just come off Bounty. We're going to go straight back in. Snake Prairie up next.
Oh, and Snake Prairie is an interesting one. It kind of lives in a microcosm of its own because of the bushes. You just tend to get a lot of Tara, a lot of bow, typically these kind of things. Teams have strayed away from that oftentimes for our monthly finals though, Ark, but I'm expecting some old reliables to come back.
Absolutely. Get a bow in there with Super Totem, get Nanny in there just to sit and let Peep do its thing, scout them out, get them taken down and get those stars for your team. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether we see that mirrored on both sides or whether we see some, maybe like the Tara coming into the mix. We've seen Tara do some devastating plays this year in Snake Prairie.
Well, you got to wish we got Jupiter running out with the bow, with the Nanny and the Tara itself. What are we seeing from the side of INTZ? Well, they are not actually running the Nani. They've got Guidu on the Sprout.
Yeah, interesting and worth remembering that Guido placing down the super will, once it eventually disappears, get rid of some bush in the process, so that could be a good way to split the map up. But already, the Stars in favor of Jupiter who get the early lead.
They got the early star and they did get that first kill. It's been answered back onto someone who didn't have that bonus star. So it does keep Jupiter in the lead, and I'm waiting for those peeps to come online because I haven't seen Nanny in a while. And there's that first peep running into the back line, dodges out the bear trap, it's on the hunt for something juicy, and will find Marcel on the back line.
Yeah, autofocus definitely, I imagine, being ran, giving Peep that additional damage that it needs to connect with a more pack of a punch. And Hagego here looking for Guido, but he connects here. Despite the offensive services, gets the takedown 10 stars then for Jupiter.
That's rough for INTZ. If you get Tara in your face like that when you're on a Sprout, even with the extra resistances given to you, you're still going to struggle if they got gravity up and they pull them into a field. You got Peep on the hunt, you see him on the left-hand side going from a fire, doesn't quite have the damage, and won't find the follow-up from Ponkotsu to get that kill. Those bear traps starting to take away the bushes and provide and remove some of this cover that Jupiter's been using. Great suck into the entry, and hey, God, gonna find that kill in the center.
Yeah, Jupiter picking up a lot of kills. There was some sad face spins, sad face pins, and some and some spins.
Yes,
from INTZ, maybe indicating they're maybe having a bit of trouble with the server potentially on their side. We knew that was going to be potentially an issue going into this game, and as a reason for that, the prize pool was flattened. But maybe we'll see them change to smiles as the next rounds progress. But I think this one, as far as it's concerned, is all over.
Well, one last peep getting thrown out, building up that extra damage, wants to go on the lock, gets Marcel chunked, won't find the kill. Marcel actually, oh no, doesn't get away from that one. But Milcreo, finally we get to see a glimpse of them, because finally INTZ were able to push into the defensive spawn area of Jupiter, but it doesn't change the outcome. Jupiter win game 1.
Yeah, for me, Jupiter, I think with the better combo, I'm not too sure for me, knowing how aggressive Jupiter can be, I don't think it's the best approach. I think that maybe they should go for the mirror combo and play a bit safer this time round, as, yeah, Sprout can be a very, very tricky one with Gago playing Tara as he is.
Yeah, you've got so much control to lock up the aggression that's coming in to try and deal with the super totems. Sometimes there's two ways to deal with this. You either go with the mirror, or you find something that's able to take out the totems. Because if you beat the totems, Nanny becomes that much easier to kill, and you can't stack up all these stars.
That's a very valid point. The best teams will absolutely look to get that out the mix as soon as possible. So anything that they can bring to the advantage in that respect to get that super totem taken down early on is going to go a long, long way.
Absolutely. We'll see what they bring out in our second game of Bounty. Will it be the mirror, or will they go for the counter? We saw Mortis brought out quite a lot so far, more so than we've seen in our other monthly finals. Nova tried to use it earlier today as a counter, couldn't find success. They took out just one super totem. There's quite a few more to take out after that. But we're going to see the same thing coming out from Jupiter. INTZ going to change it up. So they've taken Marcel onto the Piper. Now, they've got to get an angle on the super totem, otherwise they're not going to take it out.
Yeah, but I think it's a good switch up. I think that Sprout wasn't really giving them too much value, and Marcel trying to hit some homemade recipes. Not going to connect, however, but sitting within that super totem to get some defensive capability would be a great move for them, especially if Milgrio can get his peep ready, or Hagego gets his super, as the gadget pop now means that the entirety of Jupiter can see everywhere that INTZ are.
But Milcreo's gone incredibly aggressive early there, but he could have been sat on the super totem just going for the peep. I'm curious as to why he went up with the rest of the team, where in the previous round he didn't bother doing that.
Yeah, maybe wanting to make a statement, maybe looking to kind of like shut things down. We've heard some big fighting talk already from Jupiter today. Peep going to hit the wall, not going to connect, however.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Marcel was able to sneak into the back line, try and find that angle on the super totem, but look who was waiting for them. It was the Hagego able there to knock him out with the gravity, able to soak up one that's thrown at themselves. Ponkotsu and Matthias are just sneaking around each other's bushes, and the Peep goes onto the hump for the back line. Hasn't found the kill, but Matthias will take out Ponkotsu. Jupiter still hold a 3-star lead.
Yeah, I gotta say, I felt like there was a bit of a short change. I think Marcel got a really nice gadget connection there on one of the Jupiter players, and just didn't get rewarded with a kill. It would have been a great kill to get for INTZ, as the Peep goes and connects with Marcel. Disaster for INTZ now as the lead gets pushed more in favor of Jupiter.
You don't have the HP. You didn't have the super online to evade the damage. You're a sitting duck when the Peep comes swimming. Look at that red antenna on the back of it. It is a fin poking out of the grass, and the Jaws theme starts playing as it gets closer and closer.
There's a suck connection, but it's not going to matter. INTZ are not there to follow it up, and Marcel again, another pin and some spins there just to seal it off. But Jupiter right now looking in a great spot too.
Oh yeah, well, when we got a nice little goodie bag from Supercell for being here, and we got a set of pins. Immediately, Ark looked at the winner's pin and was like, "Mine.
Yeah.
I'm wearing that. No one else can. That's mine."
Laying it down from the beginning. Nope, that's fine. First to call it, Trid. You snooze, you lose.
Oh yeah. Well, to be fair, I had a feeling I could have called it first. You still would have shut me down and just forced your way into having it. Game number 3 for Jupiter, and they finally answered with the mirror. Guido is on to the nanny, playing a lot further up than what we usually see Milcreo do on their attempt.
Gege trying to go in here to get some damage. There's the Super Totem going down. Greedy got some value there, and the Peep coming in. Could connect, but now look at that. Hagege pops his gadget, and they're going to see where Peep is the entire time.
Still going to go on to Ponkots, who didn't have the distance traveled. Hang on, look at this, round the back. Matthias misses it out, goes for the loop, goes for the Super Totem. Smart decision, shut that down, start burning through them, and make Guido play more forward.
9 stars then to Jupiter.
Doesn't have a Super Totem anymore, has to play further up, but there's 2 seconds remaining. There's a 17, make that a 19-star difference. Jupiter, once again, making this look easy. Take the first set in a 3-0 fashion.
Yeah, very, very strong start from them. Gotta say though, statistically, these two teams are very, very closely matched. Both teams qualified 7 times and won 2 monthly finals out of those 7. So, I mean, there's not much really in it in that respect, and both very accomplished. So I imagine we'll see some fights starting to return for INTZ to come.
You'd hope so, because with similar track records within their respective regions, this matchup could be a good litmus test on the relative strength of the regions. That could be a takeaway from this World Finals. How do the regions chalk up against each other?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, INTZ had twice as many points as their biggest rivals in their region, the Red Planets. Yeah, so very, very strong in that respect. But then again, Jupiter had the most points of any team from any region. So
okay, okay, so apples and oranges a bit here, Ark. There's one thing to dominate your region, there's another one to dominate the points overall. Let's take a look at some stats from that previous matchup. Over 100k damage in Jupiter's favor. Triple the stars, 20 kills on their opponents. I mean, if you didn't expect dominance from the gameplay, the numbers say it all.
Yeah, that's a lot of stars. Going in then to heist our next game mode. GG Mortuary up next then as well. So definitely very, very different brawler combinations to come. What are you expecting to see?
Ooh, on GG Mortuary, ooh, it's a tough one. Usually, I think that we end up seeing on these gem grab maps a lot of Pam coming into play, a lot of control over the center. Maybe we could see a lot of Bo coming in, potentially some Brock. Just want to get some range in there.
Yeah, Brock for me with the new gadget for sure is going to break open some of the walls straight off the bat, and that could be a very strong advantage point. Prior to that gadget, we saw a lot of like Gale coming into the mix with the jump pads to get into position. Strong as he is, very, very good. And Spike as well, yeah. Spike and Brock here for me, a very, very good option. But actually no Brock at all. I'm actually very surprised to see that.
No Brock, but they did bring out the Gale to get over the pool of liquid and get into the center to get that early control. That's going to be moving forward and be looking to take out each other's safes. I completely blanked on this one. I thought this was a gem grab arc. Yeah, they're going to get Pam for that center control. No, what am I talking about? It's a heist game mode. They're going to be looking to get that safe damage, and obviously the Gale makes sense with the spring platform, able to get into these fights over the terrain, into the backline as soon as possible. Milcreo by himself just gets absolutely demolished by the Colette.
I gotta say, it's looking a lot better for me from INTC right now, and they're starting to gain a little bit of momentum here. Getting these takedowns, I think Spike was a really smart Brawl to bring into the mix, shutting down Daryl in that respect, and any jump-ins can be pre-anticipated. Milgria is gonna take a lot of damage there, and no such luck yet again from these pushes from Jupiter. Ponkotsu, though, has super. He'll be looking to get straight on the safe very soon.
Oh yeah, want to charge all the way through there. Going to break through walls. Doesn't need to take the spring platform. Has a little bit of HP to get a tiny tick of damage on that safe, but Guido just shredding him on the entry.
That is exactly why I thought Spike was a solid pick, because ultimately to be able to shut things down that quickly, and if Guido can get away from the defensive position, get on the offense, pop a gadget on the Jupiter safe, then that is going to cause a ton of damage. In the meantime, Matthias will pick up a lot of shots just from that range alone.
See how that pans out, but they have to deal with Matthias. Like you said, he's in range, he's in the danger zone of that safe, and it's chipping away constantly, dropping it below 40% now, and Jupiter haven't really had a strong answer. Colette will miss the damage onto Ponkotsu, but Matthias doesn't even seem interested in dealing with these brawlers, he just wants the safe.
Yeah, Marcel as well is doing absolute work on that left-hand side, picking Colette, and yeah, Jupiter for me, just leaving Matthias to be able to do his thing is definitely the wrong way to play this matchup.
The problem with this map in particular, Ark, if you are that tankier brawler, is you've got certain channels you can walk through. You're sitting ducks for the Colette, both in the super and the damage. You're going to get melted when you go through these channels. There's the last call, over the top. The bell has been rung, and that's game number 1 going the way of INTZ.
Great to see IZ putting up a bit of a fight, and again, dropping some pins, so maybe that wasn't to express any server issues, but they definitely have been known to do it in the past, and actually that's one of my favorite pins, the blue face with the cross. Definitely is a great way to express yourself on the battlefield.
I love that we just saw there a good example of the spring trap being deployed, and immediately there's the last call being dropped on top of it, and then the second you land, you just take all this damage, and there's just nothing you can do about it. You've got to walk away with your tail between your legs, and just having your HP melted away.
So Jupiter seemed relatively unscathed, still smiling as a result of that loss, which is unusual to see. So they're obviously in good spirits regardless and looking relatively confident nonetheless. So we'll have to see. I've got to say, I do like what I'm seeing from in this set of heist, and give Jupiter, who, as we've got to remind ourselves, were in the final last year against Nova Esports and lost. So they have been here before. They have gone to that very end stage. INTC could be the underdogs here to shut them down.
That would be surprising, because a lot of people are expecting Jupiter to have shades of their former glory at the previous World Finals. To go out in the first round definitely would be considered an upset here. Ark and a big W for the LATAM South region.
100% tick coming out then for INTC. Matthias going to be putting down that. And we're also going to see Brock now from Hergega.
There we go, that makes sense.
Marcel as well, just getting a ton of value on that